Hello, this is Justin Bush with Fit for Life. This is Moving Fit for Feminine Fat Loss. I'm not going to tell you which video this is because I can't remember. So, this is 3 points on protein. So far we've covered 3 types of energy, and so far we've covered fat more specifically. So let's dive into protein. This may not seem as important right now, but it will. Okay, so let's cover just some of the fundamentals. First, protein is amino or amino acids. That's what protein is made out of, amino acids. Okay, so your muscle is just long chains of amino acids. Where that plays a role is if you want to build muscle, amino acids are the building blocks to your muscle. So therefore, you have to keep that in mind. This is Moving Fit for Feminine Fat Loss. Wanting to build, not wanting to build, and so forth. That's where amino acids come into play. Okay. What's also important as well is, right, we don't have one type of one source of energy for our human body. We have 3. So specific kinds of exercise can tear through our amino acids at a higher rate. Protein by itself makes up about 10% of our energy, right? So just for the average person that goes about their day, 10% of the energy they're going to use is going to come from protein. So not very much. That's why most people don't talk about it a whole lot when you start to get into fat loss. But what can happen is if we engage in the caloric model where we say we're going to exercise and exercise and exercise, we tear through amino acids and we can come out on the other end losing a significant amount of muscle as well as losing a significant amount of fat if we haven't lost any fat at all. Okay, so that's good to know. Second, we have 2 types of muscle fibers, right? We have 2 types of muscle fibers. So we have slow twitch and we have fast twitch, right, which you may have heard of. So this is also called type 1 and type 2. There's actually 2 types of type 2. We're not going to get too concerned with that, but there are 2 types in case somebody asks you. So there's 3, but we're going to just focus on these 2, okay? Your slow twitch is fatigue resistant. So when you go to run a marathon and you have to cover 26.2 miles, you want to use your muscles that lasts a very long time, obviously. Now, if you need to run a 100-meter sprint, or if you need to race your kids from where you are to the nearest stoplight, you're going to want to use your fast twitch muscles, right? Because these are not fatigue resistant. These fatigue quickly, but what we like about our fast twitch muscle fibers is they go hand in hand with some of those hormones I was speaking about earlier in the fat video that tell our body's fat to release the energy into the bloodstream to be used as energy. So we'll get into that as well. Lastly, genetics. We are born with a certain amount of muscle, every single one of us. When we're born, muscle is essentially kind of laid down. And so obviously you have certain people who are born with a lot of muscle and you have certain people who are not. And in regards to the slow twitch, the fast twitch, this is true as well, right? So if your mother and father happen to be Olympic athletes, then you may have a significant amount of fast twitch muscles out of the gate. If they happen to be endurance athletes, or they may have, you may come out of the gate with slow twitch muscles. But don't get too attached with where you might have started, because you can train in a way that would encourage your fast twitch muscle fibers to develop. And you can obviously train in a way that encourages your slow twitch muscle fibers to develop. What's important to know is that your fast twitch muscles have the highest potential of growth, right? So if you train your slow twitch muscles primarily, then you're not going to get any type of muscle growth. And then obviously if you were to train your fast twitch muscles primarily, more than likely the reason you're doing that is because your goal is growth, right? So let's say if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a physique competitor, then that's what you're going for. Okay, so that's just a couple points on protein. This will all be more and more helpful as we get into our series, so I'll see you in the next video.